A lot of subscribers have asked for a walk around my shop, and with 3 days of high winds, heavy lake snow, and 25 below wind chills outside, I finally got a chance to clean it up a little bit. All the windows, there's the 5-foot drifts across my driveway now, and all the windows in my house are completely blocked with lake snow, as you can see there. So, this is a quick walk around the shop, and when you first walk in, there's a little table there, and then a drill press, and then I've got my workbench, and the workbench was just made out of a bunch of those old Craftsman drawers that you used to be able to buy. I bought a dozen of these sets when they first came out years ago for like $60 or $69 a piece, and just put together workbenches and use them for storing all my small tools. And there's the clamp up board that I made, and got my next project starting here that I'll be making a video about shortly. Over in the corner on the left of the door, I've got my clamp racks there, and I just did a video about, doing that up. And then I've got a Makita wet sharpener that works real good for planer blades, and a disc sander, and then one of those, orbital or oscillating drum sanders that works pretty good. Now everything in the shop is actually hooked up to a dust collector, and here you can see I've got central lines running through the house, and everything has ground wires running through it to the end of every machine and stuff like that also. So this is pretty much on the left side of my shop. I have this main run for all the small tools, and that just runs around and back down to the dust collector, which I'll get into later. And then I've got next I got the bandsaw there. This is like a 1950s model, and I'm hoping to upgrade that soon. And then I've got a radial drill press. That actually is good, if you want to drill to the center of a large piece. And then I just have my lathe shoved in the corner, and it's just a small old Delta lathe that it gets the job done, and just some cabinets with some screws and whatnot. And there you can see just some more shots of how everything's got copper wires running through it to ground everything. You really have to do that when you use PVC pipe. And then I actually like to put little lamps on every tool too, so you can see what you're doing. And there you see I've got a 2-foot drum sander, thickness sander. It's a Custis kit that they're no longer in business. And then I also have that scroll saw, and I made that stand for it a while ago. I did the video, and that's worked out good. You can just pick that up and take it over on the bench and use it at the proper height. And I have an old gift that I had made for my father-in-law before he passed away. It was kind of like a woodworker's fix-a-fit kit, because he seemed to run into problems every now and again. And I had matches in there for a permanent fix tool set, and then a small fix-a-fit hammer and a big fix-a-fit hammer, and I just keep that to remember them in my shop. And I got a small buffer there that I use, and you can see the dust collector is hooked up to the planer through one of those cyclone lids on a dust can. The planer's been good since I got the rubber roller in it, and I got a good set of inserts in it. So that's my Grizzly planer that I went through all the problems with, but it's working good now that I've gotten everything straightened out. And you can see how that's real close to the dust collector, so it does get the highest flow of anything. And I have this Grizzly 2-horsepower canister type collector that I've been using for I think about 10 years now, and it's actually got 3 runs going into it. It's got one that goes over to that left hand side for all the small equipment. Then it's got another one that just kind of goes up to the ceiling and goes over to pick up my table saw, joiner, and then there's another branch of it that actually just goes back across the shop to there it is right there, to go back and get the router table and the drill press. So, dust collection is the most important thing in a shop, and it should be the first thing that you put in. Then I have a radial arm saw I bought probably 25 years ago, and it may only have an hour of use on it because I really don't like the saw. It's kind of dangerous, I feel, but every once in a while I'll use it. And there's the Grizzly Jointer. That 8-inch jointer has just been a wonderful tool. That's, one of my favorite Grizzly tools there, and I print out these little safety labels to put by everything online, just so you remember that they are dangerous equipment and you have to be careful. And there's my push block that I did, and here's the saw blade cabinet that I made a video of a while ago, and then I have a air hose wrapped up there, and an old Sears compressor. The oilless head went out on it, and I just went to Harbor Freight and replaced the head with one of theirs, and it's been working good. And then the workhorse of my shop is this Grizzly Table Saw, and this has really been just I've really enjoyed this machine. It's been a good running, good working machine. I've had no problems with it, and I keep a bin under there for scrap wood, and threw a little variable speed thing there for when I use the trim router up under the table on the saw. And there you can kind of get a look at the dust collection's all grounded through everything throughout the shop. And then there's a little old table that I made out of a tool stand and a old coffee table top. Put a vise on it and stuff, and just a nice little work space that when you want something lower, where you want to plane something or just stack something on. And on the other corner, I've got a big one of those wire shelves that's overloaded with the shorter pieces of my scrap wood. I use that for projects, and there's a lot of weight on that shelf, and I'm really surprised that it holds it all, but it's worked out good for me. And then I just have a smaller shelf for the smaller pieces, and then every once in a while I'll go through there, fill up a bin, and take it up, put it in the wood stove to get rid of it, what I don't use. And I have a old DeWalt miter saw. This thing's really old, and it's got some shake in it now in the bearings and stuff like that, but it's still good for just cutting off the rough cut wood and just cutting things to rough size. And I don't have a dust collection set up on that, but I do have a box that I built that really does do a good job at catching all the dust on it. It's got a plastic back, like you can see, and then I just got some shelves in the corner with all the paints and little extras. And there's a Cnc router that I built. There's a 3-video series about building that from some old scrap parts. I do have to do a little work on it now because I am getting some wear in the bearings. They aren't supposed to be used the way I used them, so I'm going to have to make a couple changes to that. But that's got a dust deputy hooked up to a shop vac under there. And then if you look, I actually took the exhaust of that shop vac and sent it through the wall into my reloading room, so that it really did quiet it down a lot. And then there's there's that project that I started about the CNC lathe that I'll be finishing up this winter, hopefully. And just another bench with those Sears cabinets under it to hold more tools and stuff. And these couple of shelves that I recently put up. And I actually like to keep all my little wooden parts and sandpaper and stuff in Rubbermaid containers to keep the moisture out. Then some, I got some there's some sanding belts I picked up at my dollar store cheap, so I just have them hung on some hooks. And, a couple hooks for some of the old C-clamps and stuff too. And, basically just little samples that I've got hanging on the wall and stuff like that, just for future reference. And here's the back side of the bench. It's got more of those cabinets under it, and you can pretty much see that I just have crummy lighting in there. It's just those screw-in fluorescent bulbs and the standard basement lights that were there. So someday I'm going to try to update them to like LED bulbs, but so that's just basically the lighting in it. And I guess the most important thing in the shop is to have good dust collection. Now, that's a floor sweep that goes down there, but when you're going to, build a shop, the first thing you should do is come up with a plan for dust collection and run the lines, roughly in. And you can always change them a little bit later, but, just make sure that you have a way to collect the dust. And here's my remote for the dust collector. It's just an outdoor light remote that works anywhere in my shop, and it's just a little box there that plugs into 120. It actually controls a 220 volt contactor in the power panel there to turn the dust collector on and off. And there's a portable shop fan that I just carry around and use to keep everything pretty much clean. So basically that's it. That's my little, let's see, it's about 23 feet by 30 feet basement shop, and it's just the right size for me. I wish it didn't have the poles in the middle to block off some areas and stuff. It makes it a challenge to get your tools arranged, but I'm real happy with everything that I've got, and it seems to work out good for me. About the only thing I'm going to upgrade in the future is probably a new router. I make a better router table. That Harbor Freight one I'm kind of outgrowing, and a little bit bigger bandsaw. I'm still trying to decide what company to look into for that. But so basically, hopefully, you may find a couple of ideas here, or you may not. But I've had a lot of people ask for a tour, and this is what it is. Pretty much, it's it's kind of like the place where I spend the whole winter in. It's nice and warm down there, and it's a fun place to be. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.